Hello, Charlie TCG here, and welcome back to my channel. Today's deck profile is Miraidon EX, potentially one of the best decks right now in the format. Not only did it just win the Champions League over in Yokohama, it also got second place in Pittsburgh Regionals as well. Both of them very, very different, but utilizing exactly the same engine and strategy. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what were those really key finalist placing decks and what makes them really, really powerful, what 151 cards can really impact Miraidon, and pretty much talk about its matchups as well, and why I think Miraidon EX right now is one of the best archetypes. So it's really doing incredibly well over in Japan. It obviously won the Champions League, not its only win as well, so it's really, really powerful to Miraidon EX, having multiple wins this year, as well as also getting a top 8 placement as well, and kind of combinating all of it into a tier 2 archetype, being about 5 to 9% of the meta most weeks, because it has that amazing tandem unit ability by searching your deck for 2 basic lightning Pokemon and then putting it onto your bench. Definitely after the World Championships, Miraidon EX is being on an incredible high, dominating online tournaments, doing incredibly well in locals, and I'm really happy to see that, because it has the really aggressiveness of shutting down your opponent by playing Path to Peak. Once you get your setup sorted, you're not really using abilities that often, so you can slam a Path to Peak down to really slow down your opponent. And because of this, you have a huge range of different attackers to use with. You've got Raichu, you've got Raikou, you also have that new Zapdos EX, Mew EX, so many different really good attackers where Miraidon EX can really capitalize on setting them up by really, really quickly by likes of Tandem Unit, also Electro Generator, Raihan, and of course Flaffine. So let's jump into the winning lists. So this is the list which won the Yokohama Champions League, and honestly, it's very, very simple and pretty much where I believe the 151 meta will be slowly evolving to. 3 copies of Miraidon EX, because it's really, really powerful, that tandem unit ability. Setting up your entire board state really, really early on and hitting 220 damage, pretty much KO nearly everything, is really, really powerful. Your other attacker is 2 copies of Raikou V. It has amazing fleet-footed ability by getting to draw a card if it's in the active spot. But it doesn't stop there. Lightning Rondo for a lightning and colors. Yes, only 2 energies. It can do 220 damage if both boards are completely full. This is really, really good, having a low energy, so attacking options do high amount of damage. Raichu V is another really good, like late game, huge finishing sort of card. Because if for 2 lightning, 60 damage, and then times the amount of discarding lightning energies you have in all your Pokemon in play. This is really powerful to get those big KOs on those V Maxes, those V Stars, and even those big EXs, which have a huge amount of HP. Raichu V can really capitalize on getting those big one-hit KOs. How can it be set up quick enough? Well, you play a 2-2 line of Flaffy with that Dynamo ability by attaching one of your lightning energies from the discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. This is really, really powerful when you team up the likes of Raihan and Electro Generator. The board state is going to be set up very, very quickly. Now on to some of the new cards, which a lot of people will potentially be thinking about here. Zapdos EX. Now, Zapdos EX is a 2 energy retreater, but if you've got any lightning energy attached to it, this Pokemon can retreat for free. So immediately really, really powerful. And for 3 lightning energies, it's 120 damage and 90 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon if they have a damage counter on there. Hence the likes of playing Hawlucha in this style deck here. I really, really like this style of archetype. I think it's really, really powerful by constantly doing that 120 and then that 90 damage snipe, potentially even the 100 damage with the like of Hawlucha. It's a really, really powerful archetype, and honestly, Zapdos EX, really, really happy to see it placed really, really well. Potentially could be an inclusion in most Miraidon EX decks. Mew EX is another fantastic inclusion. Not only can you draw until you have 3 cards in your hand, it also has that amazing attack for 3 colorless energies. Copy one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attack. Copying a Radiant Greninja, copying a Giratina, copy even a Charizard. There's so many utilization where Mew EX is going to be played, and honestly, it is incredible. Squawk ability is also really good for that discarding effect and drawing card in the early game. One super rod I really like in this sort of deck here, because you play loads of these one-off attackers, you really want to utilize your Electro Generator, you have to discard lots in the early game, so I really like that. 1 copy of Switch, 2 copy of Skate Rope. I love having multiple switching outs, because you want to be attacking multiple times Miraidon. You have potentially, if you're not playing the Beach Court, so you need to constantly be going through as many of your Pokemon as possible to draw some cards, so that's really powerful. Item searching, you do play 2 copies of Nest Ball, 3 copies of Ultra Ball. Nest Ball guarantees a Miraidon, which gets your entire board state, and Ultra Ball can get the likes of Flaffy, Hawlucha, and Mew EX. Potentially, you may want to put down on the bench straight away and get from it. And then 4 copies of Electro Generator. This is why Miraidon is incredible by having that amazing energy acceleration with it. Sport account, we play 1 copy of Raihan and 1 copy of Judge. Raihan, I love in this style deck here by having that energy acceleration, which you need, which it really capitalizes in the likes of Raichu V, as well as also getting any card you might potentially need. Get that Path to Beat to throw on your opponent, or that boss for next turn, or even anything you might potentially need, which I really, really love. The 1 copy of Judge and 3 Ionas, I really love Miraidon being so destructive as possible. You're still playing Path to Peak, you want to slow down your opponent as much as possible, so I generally think those are really good inclusion. Arven as well is fantastic. It guarantees your electric generator, it guarantees your bravery charm, forest hill stone, which can be any card of potential. So I really like having multiple copies of this Arven in this deck. I'm a huge advocate for having at least one, maybe even two Arvens in Miraidon, and it works incredibly well. 3 copies of Boss's Orders and 3 copies of Research are kind of like the more normal, which we're seeing what Miraidon is. They're kind of like focusing more on going higher counts of Arven and really lowering down the research count. But Boss's Order is about being 3 off. It's about the average of 1 here. Miraidon decks want to go 2-2-2. They don't want to go 1-1 2-2-2 potentially. They want to go 2-2-3, sorry. They want to go constantly by going with 2-2-2 for the prize because they can easily get the big 1-hit KOs. Stadium counts 3 copies of Path to Peak, which is normal. 1 copy of Clap Stadium I do like, because potentially if something can't get a big 1-hit KO on the opponent, if you don't have like a liability on the bench, for using Clap Stadium can instantly get rid of that card, making sure your Lost Box matchup can be even better. Then your item cards, tool cards, you play 1 copy of Forest Hill Stone and 2 copies of Bravery Charm. A little bit low on the Forest Hill Stone, but playing Arven, you can kind of guarantee get it whenever if you get it from the prize goods and they get shuffled back in. So you can use Arven to guarantee that card later on. And the 2 copies of Bravery Charm bumps up Miraidon HP, bumps up Mew, bumps up all of your basic Pokemon HP, which can really help in the long run. And then 13 copies of Lightning Energy. I really like the style deck here and already going to start be testing it as well. Definitely, if you're thinking of 151 archetypes, definitely this is the Miraidon list to try out. But if we just look at the Pittsburgh list here, there are definitely similarities but differences. They played the Zapdos, obviously the lightning symbol one, making sure you can do that 230 magic damage to get those big 1-hit KOs on likes of Tyranitar V, as well as also Flying Pikachu. Flying Pikachu is good because it's a free retreater and it's an additional V card which can really help with the utilize the likes of Forest Hill Stone, not relying too much on Raikou and Raichu, which you potentially want to have Bravery Charms on them. So that's why Flying Pikachu is in fact played in the start deck here. Not playing Switch, but option play Switch card to really help in your Lost Box matchup. Lower counts of Iona by being 2, but still playing the Arven and higher counts of Professor's Research and the 2 copies of Beach Corp. Not going to the route of the Path to Peak build, but honestly still really powerful. And you can understand how this deck did in fact get 2nd place over in Pittsburgh Regionals. Really powerful archetype. And if we just look at the matchup wise, it's definitely a bit more of in the middle sort of archetype. Definitely positives that I would say is like Gardevoir, Lugia, of course, Arctina, Xianpao, and Rapid Box. I would say Xianpao is probably your best matchup because you can easily go toe-to-toe for them, easily get those big 1-hit KOs straight away and really slow down the likes with Path to Peak to make sure they're not getting any of their cards out as much as possible. Negative ones being Lost Box, Lostina, Charizard, and Mew VMAX definitely do make a lot more sense. By having Drapion there and high counts of Raichu, you do have a bit of a better shot against a Mew VMAX, but definitely a Lost Box one is really difficult. Getting that 280 damage can be really tough, as well as also getting to that and going around Sableye and Greninja, because they can easily constantly be targeting your Flapping and not really rely on going over your big basics. And having Lost Vacuum can make sure we can attack into the likes of your Raikous or Miraidons, which do have the Bravery Charm on them, and then Lost Vacuum away that and get an easy prize card that way. So honestly, I think this deck is really good on the board. Definitely a in the middle sort of deck here. But if we just look at the final sort of thoughts and feelings about where I believe Miraidon is, I think it's definitely one of the strongest decks right now in the format. Even though I said it's in the middle, but having an in the middle sort of deck is really powerful by slowing down so many archetypes with Path to Peak, by having really good secondary attackers like the Zapdos and Mew EX from 151, elevate Miraidon to be at least a tier 2, maybe even boarding to tier 1. I don't think it'll ever be a tier 1 archetype, but definitely it'll be a tier 1.5 if people go into that route here. I really like the style deck here, and I really hope you guys enjoy it as well. Where do you think Miraidon EX is going to be facing? Are we going to carry on with the Path to Peak build, or potentially will Regieleki version, when Iron Hands come out, go be the way where Miraidon EX is constantly going to evolve into it? I love it how every time a set comes out, Miraidon EX changes exponentially, which is generally incredible. It shows how fun and exciting the game has truly become, that this card is constantly being evolving and adapting to the meta. So if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Do you think Miraidon EX is going to be an incredibly powerful archetype going into the next format, or do you think it's going to kind of stay in the middle as it's kind of potentially maybe going towards? So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be back in a couple of days' time with looking ahead, and I'll see you guys then. Bye for now.